and thank you so much for watching The Social Life, the place to be for entrepreneurs with a purpose. Today, I am interviewing my ex-co-host, Christy Largents, and she is a podcaster, a speaker, and an author. This girl does anything in communications. She is amazing. So I've had the privilege to work with you, gosh, for what, 5 years?
Yeah, longer, I think.
Was it longer? On a local TV show when she lived here in town with me. And I learned so much from you just in regards to, in regards to speaking and being confident and not stopping and all the retakes we had. So Christy, it's my pleasure to be interviewing your journey today and finding out more about who you are and how you got to where you are. So give us a little background on what you do right now and kind of what excites you and what we can.
Okay. Well, first I have to say, Ashley, what an honor that you asked me to be on this resource for your people. I mean, I love you and I love what you're doing, and your passion just comes through. And that's why it was so fun for us working together on the TV show, because really you're like a younger, it's so funny. It's like we're sisters from a different mother, because even our wedding rings are the same. I'm the white version, you're the black version, and together somehow it
worked.
So I love what you're doing, and it's so valuable to be on course, right? As an entrepreneur on purpose. That is so your heartbeat since I very first met you. So I'm thrilled to see what you're doing. I am a professional speaker. That is my job. That is what I get paid to do. My first career was 14 years doing high-end residential design. And I used to laugh and say, I have had the best careers. First, I got paid to shop. And then I get paid to talk. It's like a dream come true.
That's true. That is actually true. I'd love to get paid to shop.
Yeah. Yes. So companies and associations hire me when they want to boost their morale, when they want to increase their teamwork, and when they want to improve their communication skills. Okay. So that is my target market. If somebody doesn't care about that stuff, then they don't want me.
That's right.
If they care about that stuff, then they want me. And I give my information by way of either training, where company would hire me to come in and work with their team. We would do in-person trainings, or I would speak for an association conference. Yeah. So I could be their keynote speaker to get them started with their program, or to push them out the door with a positive mindset, or I could do breakout training. So in the course of my career, I have done all of that and more, but those are the main things that I'm focusing on now.
Okay, well, that's really interesting. So, to back up a little bit, how did you even realize that speaking was going to be your gig, your jam? How did you realize that?
Well, it's so interesting because I really, I have a political science and communications degree from college.
This girl does everything, you guys.
I know. Right out of college, I got disillusioned rather fast working on Capitol Hill, and I fled back. My parents had moved from the DC area to Ohio. So I fled to Ohio. I had while I was there, I decided I would become a realtor. I literally didn't know what to do after college. I was clueless. I knew I wanted to work with people, but I had no clue. My mom is like, you would be so good at real estate. Well, what she didn't take in mind is that I hate math. I hate detail. I could be a realtor.
I thought the same thing about real estate. I was like, let me try that. I'll see if I took the course and everything. And I was like, this just isn't my thing. I don't like giving up my weekends or my nights, and you want to have kids and a family. It's just hard.
Well, and it wasn't a fit for me. And I knew that because after 1 year with one listing and one sale, I knew I needed a new career.
That's not going to work for me. Okay.
Yeah. So I ended up going to California. And when I moved to Palm Desert, California, it was in the late 80s, probably before some of your viewers were even born, but I fell into the high-end design market, and I got an entry-level job, and I worked my way up, and then I had my own business. And for a woman, at that time, and I think even still now, interior design is a very lucrative career if you're in the right end of things.
Yeah, yes.
So for 14 years, I had a really wonderful time doing that. However, about 10 years in, I ended up going, actually less than that, 7 years in, I ended up going through a divorce. And I ended up going to Hungary, and I taught English for a year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know.
Because you know what I love though is like you are just like pivoting all the way around, and I really honestly feel like that is the way to find your strength. Like, you know, it's just. But I'm proud of you. Okay, so keep going. It's very interesting.
Yeah. So, well, while I was there, I loved teaching, and I had taught Bible studies pretty regularly in my 20s, and I knew that I was good at that, but I never thought I could make a living at it. And I also knew I loved it, but I felt a little bit guilty for loving it, because then I'm like, I just want the limelight or whatever. You know, I just mixed up.
Totally.
I just didn't know, and so they really. I came home from Hungary, and I went back into design because I could make a living at it, and I didn't want to go be a school teacher at $17,000 a year or $20,000 a year. Like, I have to make a living and support myself. I was single, no kids at that time, but through that, you know, you just go through doors when they open. And my sister-in-law at the time told me, you ought to look into getting certified to teach on personality styles. And so I went to this program called CLASS, and it was Christian Leaders, Authors, Speakers Services. And they trained you on communication skills, which I already had, but they also provided a certification for their personality style, where there's work. And you know what, Ashley, I fell in love with it. I am like, I love this content.
What made you love it? Yeah.
I just loved it. It resonated with me. When I was in junior high, there was a book that came out by a guy named Tim LaHaye.
I feel like you know who that is.
Heard him. He wrote like the Left Behind series.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Well, before he wrote that, he was a pastor in San Diego. He wrote this book called Spirit Controlled Temperament, and he looked at what Hippocrates did way back in like 400 BC, and he wrote this book on it. And because Hippocrates did a ton of work with the temperament, why people act the way they act, right? And I tried reading that book, and it was really hard to understand. Well, the funny thing is, Florence Littauer took that book and turned it into a party game. And then it was so well received that she turned it into an actual assessment and several books on personality styles. And what I loved about her content and what really resonated with me was it wasn't just identifying, like you've probably been through DISC or Myers-Briggs or, you know, there's lots of things out there. But what I loved was that it gave you what to do with them. Okay. So the person is phlegmatic. How do I get along with them, right? What do I do with this person? And so once I started diving into that, it really resonated. And here's the really neat thing, and your tribe will resonate with this, that once I started teaching that anywhere, any place for free, just wanting to get that word out, one door opened and another door opened and another door opened. And next thing I know, I am connected with National Seminars, which is a worldwide training company. And by the early 2000s, I was traveling 2 to 3 weeks a month speaking as one of their most requested speakers on the topic of how to handle difficult people, powerful communication skills for women, conflict and confrontation for managers, how to be a highly effective team leader. I mean, these were all the topics that I kind of took on. And I had this.
So sorry, just backing up on that real quick. So when you started doing your speaking, because there are some people in our tribe that are interested in, you know, building up their speaking repertoire. And the thing is, a lot of our tribe are nonprofits. And so did you just start with one vein and then slowly branch out, or did you have to go get other certifications to speak on these things? Like, how did you just start coming up with your topics?
So I am an expert on personality styles and why people act the way they act. I dove deep into it, and I studied and I read and I learned everything I could on it. And as I'm speaking, as I'm teaching this content, I got tons and tons of data back from people, right, on it. So I was speaking everywhere I could for free. But it didn't take long till people started. Of course, I was living in Dallas at the time. This was the late 90s. And there was so much business here that it was pretty, and I had made a nice network because I'm a networker like you are.
That's right,
So one thing led to another, and then next thing I know, I'm getting asked, could you come talk to my work?
Yeah.
And then they would pay me.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that was the start. And then once I got on with National, it was a beautiful situation because I used their content while I was learning and growing in these areas.
Yeah.
I took their content and made it my own. And then, so that's what I was speaking on.
Yeah. Okay. That's really interesting and good to know, because a lot of times I think people think you have to be an expert on, you know, all of these multiple topics, but really it is just putting it into your own style and your own way of delivering that information.
Well, especially your nonprofit. So you have I love to help nonprofits with this because you have a message that you want to get out.
Absolutely.
So then you start thinking, who would want to hear this?
Yeah, who needs to know? Yeah,
benefit from, and then you put together a really tight program that you can talk 15 to 40 minutes on.
Yeah.
And you make it interesting and you make it funny, and most important of all, you make it relevant to your audience.
Yeah.
And then you pick up the phone or you send a text and you say, hey, I would love to come present this for you. The benefit to your audience is.
Yes.
Right. And you come at it from the benefit end.
Yeah.
And
what's in it for me? Like everything starts from that.
Tattooed on, make me feel important and welcome, right? What's in it for me? So it's on their foreheads.
I know.
Yeah.
It's true. It's like, I mean, that's the point of everything we do, right? It's why we watch videos. It's why we do everything. If there's nothing in it for you, then it's kind of a waste of time. So it's really important to nail that down.
Right. Exactly.
Speaking. Yeah. Okay. But
and here's the other thing. If a lot of times people will tell me, I feel like a fake. I feel like a fraud. I just don't know enough. And the reality is, if you have read 3 to 5 books on a subject, and that's even high, like I think it's really 2 to 3 books on a subject, you know more than 90% of the people in the world.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, wow. Because people aren't readers, people aren't learners, and people like you and me, we're readers, we're learners.
Yeah.
So, and I know a lot of the people in your tribe are learners.
Yeah.
So we, just by dint of who we are and by our exposure to the information that we're passionate about, we become the expert very quickly.
I love that.
I know it's very popular to call yourself an expert on something, but honestly, you can when you have done the work and it doesn't have to be a lot. It really doesn't, because most people know about that much about stuff. They don't have a deep knowledge.
Right. And that's what a lot of people say. They say, you know, they want to make sure that people can join in. What did I say? Join in. Oh my gosh. They want to make sure that people know that you can only be like 6 months ahead of them, you know, in something, but you still are more of an expert than they are in whatever that topic is.
Exactly. The journey, you're just a little bit ahead of them on the journey.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And often what I found, especially as I moved into my topics now with positivity and positive psychology, is that there are the people who are the deep dive experts who actually do the research that I learn from. Yeah. They have a hard time communicating it in a way, oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes they have trouble communicating it in a way that other people can understand. Right. So I like to say, take it and then dumb it down for the ordinary person, because I'm ordinary. If I can figure it out and I can connect it for you, then I'm making that information useful. So right. And you're making it connectable. Like you're making it so that people can, you know, I think the thing about you, and I think for other people as well, is that, you know, you're easy to talk to and you're easy to listen to, you're easy to watch. And you do usually have a good way of explaining things and information. And I think that was one of the things of us working together before, like when we would interview people, you were able to distill down what people were saying in a way that our viewers could then see this is okay. That totally makes sense. And this is how it applies to me. And that's really what your people can do for their audience is take your passion, take what it is that you are called to do, and then make it understandable and relatable to their tribe. Exactly. And here's the thing that I think is so important, and you are so good at this, Ashley, which is just being authentic. Don't try to pretend to be somebody that you're not.
Yeah.
Like if I tried to be, and especially when people are speaking, they think they need to put on their, speaker hat.
I know.
Suddenly be different. It's not helpful.
No, and then you end up being the same as everyone else because everyone else has their speaker hat on.
Exactly. And it's okay to say, I don't know the answer to that question, but I can certainly find out. Or does anybody else in the audience know the answer to that? Because
that's powerful.
That is so powerful. And so what you're doing is you're being authentic. So if you can say, I don't know, then they can trust that when you say, oh, I totally know this, that you really do totally know.
Exactly. Yeah. I actually hadn't thought about it that way, but that's true. Because I tell people all the time, like it's on something I don't know, or I'll say like, hey, I'm not a lawyer on that, so I can't speak on that or whatever the case, but it's true. And that's a good nugget for anybody who actually is watching this video. If you are in a position where you want to start speaking, realize that you don't have to know all the answers. And that is a huge, I think it breaks down so many barriers for a lot of people, Christy. They just feel like they have to have all the answers if they're going to go out and speak. And I've even been, guilty of that too.
Right. We all do. I mean, I can't even thousands and thousands of hours I've spoken in front of people. And I can just tell you from experience.
Yeah.
That your validation comes when you're authentic with people and you don't try to pretend what you're not.
Absolutely. And also the other thing with that too is, and I'm not a speaker, so I can't talk about speaking platforms, but I would think that also, same with YouTube, like when you are authentic, you attract the people that like your style. And if you don't even know the people that you're not attracting because they're not there, Right. And so you're attracting people that are a right fit for you and that you're a right fit for.
Right. That is so brilliant, Ashley. It's exactly right. Years ago, I heard actually right when I started getting online, which was like in 2014.
Yeah.
I met a guy, Derek Halpern at.
I love Derek. Yes.
He is amazing, an amazing entrepreneur. He said something that was so freeing. And I think all of us should really know this deep down, is that you're people who the audience is a continuum. And on 1/3 of the continuum, you have people that love you, and every single thing they're going to do, they're going to buy, they're going to support, they're going to promote. They love you. And it's small. It's about 1/4.
Yeah.
And then on the other end, you have people who can't stand you, and they hate the way you laugh, and they hate your hair, and they hate your smile, and they just can't stand you.
Yes.
And in the middle, this huge chunk are people who are like, she's okay.
Yeah.
And your job and my job is to get those people in the middle on one side or the other as fast as possible.
Yes.
You want to get them from the apathetic, I don't really have an opinion, to either I love her or I hate her.
Exactly.
So the more quickly you can do that, the stronger your tribe will be.
Yes,
right?
I 100% agree with that.
Really love you and support you.
Yes.
And also, as you grow your tribe, you don't want to be paying for people, because on email lists, you're paying for people.
That's right.
You're paying for people. So I don't want to be paying for people who are like, meh.
Yeah,
I want people who love my stuff.
Yes.
Right? And want to hear from me every week.
Yes. And the other side of that too, Christy, is like, sometimes your main goal, really the main goal is to just get your information out there. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, if the way I feel is, this is what I say all the time when people are starting social media and they're like, well, I don't know. I don't want to take selfies and I don't want to do this. And I'm scared to put the wrong thing up. If people don't like it, they don't have to look at your feed. You know what I mean? They can find another feed to look at.
Exactly.
Like, it's not your problem to make people like your feed. If they like it, they'll be attracted to it. And if they don't, I truly believe in the law of attraction. You attract what you put out. And so if you put out something fake, you're going to get fake back. If you put out authenticity, you're going to get people who feel that, and they're going to, be attracted to you.
Okay.
And, so, I love what you're saying, because I think you really are breaking down a lot of barriers as far as getting up on a stage and speaking. And that's why I think TEDx does so well, because you don't know what you're going to get when you go watch a TEDx speech. You have no idea. Right? They want authenticity, and that's what they're focused on. And if you can somehow, what types of tips would you give to somebody to get up there and what is it that you would tell somebody? Like, you're going on stage, people used to say, imagine everybody in your underwear. Like, that never worked for me.
No.
To get rid of the nerves.
The biggest thing is, this is where I start with the message. We could talk all about putting the message together and all that. There's tons of help out there for how do you do it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's not about you. You have a message, but it's about them.
Yes.
And I have found when I get myself all nervous and worked up, all I'm doing is thinking about myself. I am not thinking about them.
That's so true.
I want to do my homework. I want to put together an engaging program. I want to be funny. I want to invite them in. I want them to fall in love with whatever it is I'm teaching so that they really can embrace to make their life better. But I need to get I am just like the conduit.
Yes, exactly.
I want to present this data in its most enjoyable, entertaining, engaging, and impactful way possible.
Yes.
But it's not about me.
No.
It is about them. Mm-hmm. And I have the opportunity and the privilege of giving them my content.
Yeah.
So when I can refocus and remind myself, this is not about me. This is about them.
I love that.
And then it takes the jitters away. It's just like when we were doing TV. We saw it with the people who came on as our guests. Yeah. Some of them were like, Others were like, they're all about their message. They just couldn't get. Remember that lady, that one lady from she was like about 85 from the Historical Society. We couldn't get her to shut up.
I know.
So passionate about telling her message. And she just had this message that she wanted to get out. And she forgot about herself.
That's right.
Because the message was there.
That's right.
So I don't really want everyone to do that.
I know. Yeah, don't talk all over yourself, but yes.
With your message, but I definitely think that when we put our focus on who we're trying to serve, it takes care of the
I think that's such a huge tidbit for anybody to take for anything. And I think that sometimes we forget about that. Like, that's why, I always say the medium is the message, like whatever your medium is. And you are a prime example of that because, doing the speaking, doing the writing the books and doing the podcast, like all of those things are different messages and different mediums, but the message is what is important. And the way that you might deliver that message might be different, but I bet if we looked back through all of those, there's like a common thread. And I would say, like, even for speaking, like, wouldn't you say that people would need some sort of common thread, for like what they're looking for in their speeches? I don't know. Did that make any sense?
Meaning what they want to talk about, or?
Yeah, like if my common thread is entrepreneurs with a purpose, right? Like everything I talk about deals with that. So it wouldn't matter if I was talking about nonprofits, for-profits, if I was talking about speaking, it's all for entrepreneurs with a purpose.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
My point.
And that's your core message.
Yeah.
That's your why. That's part of your why. I mean, And I think it's easy to get sidetracked or to go to the next shiny object.
Exactly.
But if you back, right? Especially for us entrepreneurs. I mean, there's always a new thing.
Yes.
Right. And if you go back though to what is my core message? Who am I serving? And how do they need it from me? It's going to keep you, it's easier said than done. I know, says the girl who's tried it all. But trying to stay more focused in on your core audience and what they really need. And that's intertwined with your core why. Why are you doing this? Because I want to serve this core audience.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I was asking, is because those three questions are huge, because just figuring out how to kind of recenter your message, no matter what you're talking about, having that, that compass to say, this is what I'm talking about. I call it a banner. Like, this is the banner I hold, but no matter what you're talking about, because you talk on all different types of things. When you first started, you were talking about all the different things you talk about.
Yeah.
But, the common message is, how do we work together? Right?
Right. And how do you stay positive? I don't care if you're with your family or your boss. How do you have a positive mindset and move yourself forward? Yeah. And when you do, how do you get along with people? And then how do you communicate well? And how do you be engaged? I mean, all of those things. But the core for me has turned into your mindset and your positive mindset.
I love that, because that's so perfect for you, Christy. Like, I don't think I've seen you flustered. I don't think I've ever seen you upset. Maybe once.
Well, just ask my kids and husband about that one.
Well, I know. Well, we won't go
there. I'm always upset. Yeah. Ashley, and this is what I think will help your tribe, is that I did not arrive at that when I started. I started by teaching personality styles.
Okay.
Right. So that's been 20 years ago. And I got certified, I think in 98, 99.
Yeah.
So that's 20 years ago. So here I am today. I actually just was in California last week working with a hospital down in Yuba City. Yeah. Adventist Health. But I couldn't believe it. Anyway, long story. But the message that I was teaching, I started with mindset. I had a segment on personality. I had a segment on communication skills. So it's still the same kind of core content, but of course, it's grown and more with the times.
Yes.
And I got to really my heartbeat, which is this positive mindset. I didn't have any of that. Even a couple of years ago, that has just sort of evolved.
Yes.
And so don't wait is what I'm trying to say. As you've told your people a million times, don't wait until you have it perfect in your mind or perfect on the page. Just get started with where you're at right now, because you're further along than somebody else.
Yeah.
And they know what you have to offer.
I love that. And how did you find your medium? I mean, how did you know that it was better for you to do speaking in person rather than creating a YouTube channel?
Well, I've tried doing all the online stuff. And my problem, Ashley, and you can probably relate to this, I'm such a people person. And I was sitting here thinking this Zoom is so good for me because I'm getting to interact with you and we're having some interaction.
Yes.
And when I just do this to a camera, I don't perform the same way.
Right.
So for me, even more so, in person works so well because, first of all, there's plenty of boring speakers out there. So for me, there is a need. I took stand-up comedy classes this year. I'm learning how to be funnier so I can entertain better because everybody wants to be entertained.
Yes.
And yet still stick to my core content, which will change their life, which is why I'm even doing this.
Yeah.
I had to realize that was part of why we moved to Dallas, is I needed more in-person opportunities that didn't involve heavy travel. Because I have an 11-year-old and a 14-year-old, and I want to be home. I want to do drop-off, and I want to do pickup.
That's right. That's right.
I know that about myself. And so for me, this worked out. It's working out really well being in the Metroplex so that I have more opportunities to be in person.
Yeah. And I think it's great that you highlight the fact that it is the journey and it is the evolution of who you are. And there are pivots and, there is no, I don't think for an entrepreneur, there is no other route than the circuitous route. You're going to make different, no worries, don't worry. It's on your phone, I know.
My computer. Yeah.
That's my computer too. No worries. See, like that. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, so I just want to jump into our social round so that I can get all those speed questions out. So the first question is, what is one organization, that you support or you feel like is your purpose?
Oh, gosh. Well, I support a lot. You mean professionally or like just in my life?
Just personally, like what something you care
Crew,
deeply about. What was that?
Called Crew. It used to be Campus Crusade for Christ.
Okay.
And I've supported one couple down in Southern California for the past 30 years, I think.
Wow.
Every month. Yeah. I really believe in what Campus Crusade does. Because as a Christian, I just feel like that's like my core.
Yeah.
So I give to a lot of other worthy causes, but that is my heartbeat.
I love that. And okay. And one book that you recommend, just period, any book.
Well, I'm a reader, so
I know
a new book every day, practically. The book that changed my life for the better was called The One Thing, and it's by Keller. Keller Williams, Gary Keller, right?
I think it's Gary Keller. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was on vacation in the summer of 2014, and we were driving up to Oregon. And I was reading that book, and in that book, he says you need to spend like 3 to 4 hours a day focused on your one thing that will move your business forward. I need to remind myself of this. And at that time, I had I was doing a network marketing business on the side, and I kind of put my speaking on the back burner. And I said, there's not one single thing that I want to do in my business. What do I really want to do? I really want to be speaking again. And it was that question in that book that got me back into the speaking after like a 7-8 year hiatus.
You know what? It's so amazing that you said that book. I just put up a post on Instagram like 2 days ago or yesterday or something. And I said, I just have a book that I started reading that bumped that my one thing book out of first place.
Oh, what is it?
It's called Essentialism.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you read that one?
That's good too. I mean, it depends on where you are at the time, right?
It's so true.
For me, the one thing was super critical, but I love Essentialism as well, just for helping you narrow it down. And another one, if you like that, is Deep Work by Kelly.
You're on the same page, girl. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's on my Instagram. Deep Work. It's
that is so funny.
We love the same book.
So I would look up Cal Newport. He wrote Deep Work, and he has a brand new book that's just come out.
Oh, and I have it. Digitalism.
Digital, yeah. It's how to get rid of all the digital distractions.
We are there.
Okay, so the thing is, he is a man. I always have to say this as an aside. Yeah. Men have a very different worldview than women. And their lives are very different.
Absolutely.
He is not doing drop-off. He is not responsible for pickup. He is not doing grocery shopping. I mean, even if you have help doing these things,
I know.
Plan it.
I know.
The mama has to plan it.
I know. It's true. It's such a different.
Mamas have to plan it.
I know. It's such a different situation.
And
I laugh about that all the time.
Do not get frustrated if if you can't implement these things right away, because if you have children, if you have a husband, if you have people requiring things from you besides your work.
Yes.
It's, just give yourself grace there.
That's right. Absolutely. A ton of grace too. And then add on more.
Yeah.
So what's one piece of advice you would give to a new entrepreneur that is starting up or wanting to get started?
Pick a lane and go deep.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
Pick a lane and go deep. Niche yourself. Niche.
Yes.
We all want to be all things to all people, and the riches are in the niches.
That's right. That's just.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I've got all these little sayings.
I'm like, there's tons of little sayings you're bringing out. Okay, so what's one thing that changed the game for your productivity?
I'm waiting for that one. No, it is a battle, Ashley, because I tend to be it's easy for me to be scattered. One thing that's changed my productivity, you know what? I love The Morning Miracle by Hal Elrod. I love getting up early. I love having some quiet time, even before I go to the gym. It's really hard because I have to be out the door at 7:15 with my daughter. So it backs me up, which means I have to go to bed early.
Yep.
But when I do that, I find my whole day is so much more productive.
It is.
So get that up in the morning, get active, do some exercise before everything hits the fan.
That's so true.
So that
Christy,
helps.
after you get off here, you have to go look at Instagram because I literally just posted that today.
We are so twins. But you're tall and thin and brown, and I'm short and round and white.
Stop it.
Pathetic. I want you. I want to be you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So last question. What is one part of your routine that you cannot live without?
I wash my face every morning and every night. Religiously.
Okay. Well, that is a good part of the routine. I love that. Christy, thank you so much for coming on. Christy will also be leading a bonus in the Academy. So if you are a part of the Academy and you're excited to see, she's going to be going over her speaker one sheet and how you can create your own. So thank you all so much for watching. Christy, thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure.
I will see you in just a little bit.
Yeah.